Julia Stiles' career was on fire in the late 90s and early aughts after teen movie 10 Things I Hate About You catapulted her into stardom. But then she took a hiatus from Hollywood to pursue a college degree. So what is there to know about her? This is the untold truth of Julia Stiles. Before Julia Stiles landed a breakthrough role, the young actress was trying to make a name for herself in Hollywood. As a preteen, she landed small roles in shows like Ghostwriter, and she even scored her first big screen role in I Love You Not before starring as Harrison Ford's daughter in The Devil's Own. According to The Telegraph, Stiles lost the role of Claudia in Interview with the Vampire to Kirsten Dunst in 1994, but would beat out several actresses for the part of Kat in 10 Things I Hate About You in 1999. Stiles was relatively new to Hollywood, and she was presumably up against actresses like Kate Hudson and Katie Holmes. Stiles was drawn to the part because Kat was so different than the other heroines in popular teen comedies. She told InStyle in September 2019, "The reason that I wanted that part so badly was because I thought it was so refreshing, seeing a teenage girl be feisty and opinionated and be a fish out of water, but proudly so." The strong chemistry between Stiles and her on-screen love interest, Heath Ledger, also helped her land the part.
I was watching you out there before. I've never seen you look so sexy.
When Julia Stiles first popped up on the Hollywood radar, she gravitated toward intelligent, brazen female roles. The actress starred in 3 films based on Shakespeare plays over the course of a year. Stiles' breakout film, 10 Things I Hate About You, was inspired by Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew, and she followed it up by starring in an adaptation of Hamlet opposite Ethan Hawke and in O, an adaptation of Othello, alongside Josh Hartnett and Mekhi Phifer. But Stiles didn't intend to star in the Shakespeare-inspired films. She told Entertainment Weekly in March 1999, "I didn't set out to be in 3 Shakespeare movies, but just because I had done 10 things, I wasn't going to turn down the acting experiences of my life." The actress continued to be drawn to Shakespeare. In 2002, she starred in a presentation of Twelfth Night in Central Park. In 2001, Julia Stiles starred in Save the Last Dance, another memorable teen movie. The film focuses on a white Midwestern girl who falls in love with her black classmate, played by Sean Patrick Thomas, after the pair bond over their love of dance. The film was a hit, likely in part to Stiles' vulnerable and emotional performance, and it has gone on to become a cult classic. While fans adore the film and Stiles' portrayal of Sarah, Stiles admitted to Good Morning America in September 2019 that she found her performance hard to watch. She said, "Save the Last Dance came on TV the other night, and there was a part of me that was curious about the memories of making that movie, and then I immediately turned it off because it was cringeworthy to me." Stiles compared watching her old film to looking back at old photos of herself as a teen. She said, "When you see pictures of yourself as a teenager, part of you goes like, oh yeah, and then part of you is like, oh my god." At the height of her acting success and popularity, Julia Stiles did the unthinkable. She walked away. The actress left the glamour of Hollywood life for academia and enrolled at Columbia University. Stiles graduated with a major in English literature in 2005 and told The Independent in August 2007 that she wasn't sure if her degree helped her obtain acting roles. She stated, "It's funny because being cerebral isn't necessarily the best thing for an actress. It is in terms of understanding a role or understanding what roles you want to choose, but in terms of being a visceral actor and reacting emotionally to things, it can be an obstacle. I tend to think about things too much." But going to school helped Stiles stay grounded. She told the Daily Beast in September 2019, "Academic professionals don't really give a shit about me being in a movie or having to go to the MTV Movie Awards. But then also people in the entertainment industry don't really care about university. That helped me a lot." On a different path than her early days of Shakespeare adaptations, Julia Stiles starred in Season 5 of Showtime's hit series Dexter in 2011. Her character, Lumen, sought revenge on her abusers with help from Dexter, and eventually romance would blossom between the pair over the course of the season. Stiles was drawn to the part because Lumen wasn't just a victim, she was a layered character. She told The Hollywood Reporter in August 2011, "I was really excited by the idea that she would be involved in Dexter's secret life, as opposed to on the outside of it like a lot of the other characters." The role earned Stiles an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series in 2011. Although she didn't win that year, the actress had a blast starring on the show and really, quote, enjoyed the kill scenes. As Julia Stiles adjusted to acting life as an adult, her personal life changed dramatically. In October 2017, the actress welcomed her first child with husband Preston J. Cook. The star confirmed the exciting news in an Instagram post on November 21, 2017, sharing an image of her newborn's tiny hand along with the caption, "Strummer Newcomb Cook, born October 20th, 2017. The new mom tries to maintain a certain level of privacy, especially after receiving widespread criticism over how she was holding her son in a photo she posted to Instagram in November 2017. In response to the backlash, Styles told InStyle in September 2019, "I can take all the criticism, I can deal with that. I'm an adult." But when they started making comments about him, the mama bear kicked in, and I was like, oh hell no, that's totally off limits, and how dare you? I don't really have regrets, but it was a big lesson for me to not share photos with my son. While Julia Stiles has enjoyed an acclaimed career for decades, starring in fan-favorite films like 10 Things I Hate About You and Save the Last Dance, the actress began feeling out of place in Hollywood. She told the Daily Beast in September 2019, "I think a few years ago my frustration was feeling like nobody knew what to do with me. You know, I had some success in my 20s, and now I'm in a different place in my life, and I didn't really fit anywhere." After landing her coveted role as the journalist Elizabeth in Hustlers in 2019, the actress felt a sense of belonging again. The movie is based on a true story in which a group of female dancers con their wealthy clients and was inspired by journalist Jessica Pressler's 2015 article featured in the cut. Styles even reached out to Pressler in preparation for the role. She explained how they met on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
We both were working at the time and couldn't find childcare, so I was like, well, let's just have a play date.
She told Glamour in September 2019, "I brought my son over to her apartment, and he proceeded to destroy her living room while we talked about everything that led to this point. There were so many interesting anecdotes I took away from our meeting, but I also really learned that she's got a lot of compassion for the people she writes about." Julia Stiles rose to fame during a much simpler time without social media being an everyday aspect, having to endure comments or a need to endlessly self-promote herself online, which is something she's thankful for now. She told InStyle in September 2019, "When I was starting out, becoming more successful and having to promote what I was in, doing an interview like this, for instance, I'd still be careful about what I was saying, but I didn't have to worry about something being pulled out of context for clickbait in the Twitter sphere." Stiles talked about having a presence online nowadays in a 2019 interview with Harper's Bazaar, stating, "You have to be a lot more cautious. So much more is recorded now, but then at the same time with Instagram and Twitter, you have an opportunity to have a more direct platform. And I'm trying to navigate that, just like everyone else is." And the actress admitted in an interview with NME, if she had it her way, nobody would be quoted in print before the age of 30. Looking back on the 90s, when Stiles was firmly in the paparazzi sights, she deadpanned that maybe going out without makeup on, or even simply dressed down, wasn't the best idea. Stiles wishes she'd chosen her words more carefully, admitting to a lack of experience speaking to the press. She recalled, "I learned through trial and error what it means to be quoted." Explaining if she could do it all over again, she stated, "I wouldn't have said things for effect and for popularity over things that I actually thought." Although Hollywood is well known for age discrimination of actresses above the age of 30, Julia Stiles isn't concerned about finding work as she gets older. She admitted to Glamour that in her 20s, the idea of trying to find work 10 or 20 years later would have been terrifying. She now feels the opposite, stating, "I feel like the opportunities for me and my peers are better and better as we get older." Stiles acknowledged that she started out being offered the girlfriend role, which slowly transitioned to the mother, but the older she gets, the material and offered roles get better. The Riviera star reiterated in an interview with InStyle, "I think the roles that we're playing have gotten so much more interesting than what we were doing in our 20s." The movie 10 Things I Hate About You was such a major career-defining moment for Julia Stiles, one that will likely continue to dominate interviews even into her golden years. But the actress is more than happy to continue discussing her character, Kat, and everything she loved about playing her. Stiles credits the role with getting her more interesting parts down the line, too. She gushed to NME, "We were all really present, and it was just so uninhibited. None of the actors felt jaded or shut down." When it comes to the matter of a reunion sequel, however many years later, she's not against the idea, although Stiles admitted to having no idea how it would work. On where her most beloved character would be a decade or two on, she said, "I would hope that Kat would be a lot happier outside of high school." The 90s star would even watch such a movie herself, as she'd be interested to see how it all works out. She may regret some of the things she said early on in her career, but there were also times Julia Stiles wishes she'd spoken up more. In an interview with Coveteur, the actress hinted at some of the difficulties she had as a less experienced performer, referring to a, quote, hostile director who pushed her around, limiting her ability to be creative. She elaborated in an interview with Glamour, admitting to being screamed at and driven to tears on set. She recalled,
And the producers essentially came to me and said, this is how it goes. So that message to me was, you have to take this kind of behavior.
Although the 10 Things I Hate About You star acknowledged she wasn't confident enough to fight back, nowadays Stiles knows how to stick up for herself. As she explained to Coveteur, the desire to be a people pleaser is something all actors have to contend with, but she can be assertive when necessary. But Stiles stated that, thankfully, acting allows us to say and do all the things on screen that we don't get to do in real life. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.